This song's so fucking good. I had to do an episode.
Don't be calling on my phone with that fuck shit. No, not today.
Not today, not today. Ooh. I forgot the flat.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay.
Taking all these drugs, put my body function. Trying to numb the pain. Not afraid to say I live what I rap. It's the truth, I'm not ashamed.
This must have been early. Like when he was like, right after Lucid Dream, like Platinum or something. He was like, the Soul of a Lion wrote that stack it up, my ear.
So many hoes, if I wanted, I could go more. My anxiety is like my cash flow, enormous. My demons do what I do to
And he got that cash, his enemies talking about it, and thinking about like how he should have school, you know? And like, I guess he would be jealous of like all the brats doing their thing, you know, like the normal life. Demons! Just fight them off. And then he was just like, fucking get. And you need some arm, some weapon to protect yourself. And you need something to numb the pain. The heartache. Definitely was in love with that other girl, I think. That's why Goodbye and Good Riddance. That
don't play those games.
Don't play those games. Maybe? Yeah, it is when you met Lottie though, because he's talking about Lottie. Or he recorded the second half later. But I probably wouldn't do that. He did it all in one whole time. So this was like probably when he started dating Lottie, I guess. My guess. Yeah, Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. Just got a new gun, it's from Russia. Yeah, it's okay. It's that lifestyle song. Taking all these drugs, put my body function. Trying to numb the pain. Literally lifestyle. Not afraid to say I live what I rap. It's the truth, I'm not ashamed. Like it was just spitting pure truth, pure facts, pure like. Maybe it was even like sober in that. Because he seemed.
No, we can never keep track of our saving goals.
Oh my god, ads.
Voila.
He seemed very like clear-headed in that rap, very like precise. Maybe he wrote some of that stuff. I don't know. It seemed a lot of fruit, but it was like very, very. It was a good track. One of my new favorites for sure. Yeah, just talking about his life, talking about how like he's the best. Like basically, like he's on the come up. So that was one of his. That's a come up song. That's fire. I wish that one released. I don't know what else to say. Just like that's just him kind of like coping with how like in the documentary they talk about like, oh, he didn't even realize like what was like happening, like how much like how big he became kind of thing, and like how he was coping with the drugs and like the shows. He didn't even realize like how many people, like a lot of people said that, but then you listen to songs like that and you're like, oh well, he really does he really was aware. He really was actually like more smart, more aware than anyone actually gave him credit for sure, because he had a very smart mind, and that's the life of being yourself. And yeah, so basically warning everyone he's gonna be himself, and that he's just gonna do what he wants. He's gonna change the game, change the world, kind of thing with his lifestyle. Same thing I want to do, you know? It's the same kind of vibe. It's really cool. The spirit of a lion, you know what I'm saying? That's why it's like, you know, we're always, people like us, we're always like jumping at like, oh God, how do I explain it? Like, we're always like we're always like very defensive. We're always like jumping at like a lion. We're always like pouncing on the prey, you know? We're always like jumping right to it, even though like that really gets us in trouble sometimes. It gets us into shit like how he kind of jumped into the alley, jumped into the whole lifestyle of being famous, jumped into the whole all these drugs, jumped into all these guns, jumped into everything. It's kind of more crazy than you would think, because he's just some nerdy kid who just was probably just realistically would just be watching some anime, just chilling, doing his things, like smoking weed, watching anime if he wasn't in this kind of lifestyle. Shit, it's kind of crazy. Maya's actually so hyper. It's insane. The song's hyping her up. But yeah, like, he really was more like conscious of everything than people actually give him credit for. He was more aware, more, like, even though he lived like this free life of like do what you want, kind of like go with the flow, he still had a plan. He still was making these decisions. He was still doing what he needed to do to make it in a kind of way, and like he still knew what he needed to do, like go to the studio, grind, like all these kind of things, and like the right connections. But it just kind of made him fall into that lifestyle. It kind of changed his lifestyle in a lot of ways. So like in a way, I think he was ready for it, because that's what he wanted, you know, like that's the life he wanted. But at the same time, he wasn't ready for it. Like how people say, like, oh, he, like in the documentary, how everyone's talking about, like, oh, they didn't know if he could handle it all, like all this pressure, all this like all the stuff surrounding him, kind of like weighing on him, you know. But he really was more of a smart, like plotting kind of guy. Like he really knew what he was doing. So yeah, that's about it for this episode of 999 Weeks, episode 3, yeah, or 4. Yeah, make sure to like and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed. Peace.